What's up? Wait, take one.
That's your take, bro.
I'm not used to this.
Handle it.
Let's bring that back. Welcome to the Speakeasy Podcast. I don't know what else to do. I feel like I gotta be like Walter. Welcome to Speakeasy Podcast. I'm Josh, a.k.a. Vanilla Gorilla, Walter Reyes, Panda Bear, Tony, Batman. Fuck it.
That's probably the best introduction so far.
Fuck
to be
it.
honest with you.
He's doing great.
We're doing something a little different today. We don't technically have a guest, but what we're doing, we're trying something different. It's a 3-part mini series. By the way, is what Tony said.
Yeah, 3-part.
So what we're going to do is kind of give you a little background about ourselves, kind of like, deep cuts. So today we're actually going to be interviewing Walter. Tells us a lot about himself, his personal journey. We're each going to talk about how we met Walter. Tony's going to say a little something.
Something.
We're going to be very flattering to Walter. He has a really sensitive ego.
I'm sure you guys will be very real. Sometimes flattering, sometimes not.
How long have we been friends now? Like 8 years?
Yeah, before I started doing comedy. I started doing comedy with you at BMG.
Yeah, we have a special friendship. I mean,
why don't you tell them how we met?
It's special. We met at a job. This was in Costa Mesa.
Costa Mesa.
I don't know. I guess we can talk about it. I mean, fuck it. They fired me. So
just do like one of those things, like when they rhyme kind of thing. Like BMG.
Like I worked at Balf's.
Bosom Medical Group.
Yeah, Bosom.
It's something like that.
BMG, Bosom.
Yeah, BMG Medical Group.
A men's sexual
health clinic. Now, if you know anything about men's sexual health, which Walter and I do, because we got paid to talk about dicks on the daily.
Now
it was a call
free.
center where men would call in. A lot of times women would call in, like their wives would call in.
I got in trouble for that.
You got in trouble because you were going to rendezvous with someone, I think.
I didn't get in trouble for that one. I got in trouble from the one from Texas who spent 2 hours dressing up like a little schoolgirl, and then her man only lasted 2 minutes. So that's literally, she called me 3 times to talk about this.
Huge investment.
And I was a great listener. And, we can't be on the phone for 45 minutes with one person that's never going to see a doctor.
Yeah, sometimes you need to talk to someone about your partner's penis.
The one from New Jersey was the one that wanted to meet in Vegas.
Yeah, I think you should have done that.
Probably.
So let's be clear. This was an erectile dysfunction clinic.
Yeah.
And premature ejaculation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So all we did was just talk about, we just set doctor's appointments.
Yeah.
But, part of the job, you have to have a sexy voice.
Yeah.
So, you listen to us.
I give a great phone.
He gives great phone. Amazing
great phone. You can find me. I also have a phone number, 1-800-TONS-OF-FUN. Get me up on...
That's a lot of numbers.
Yeah, I think it might be too many numbers.
It's no vowels.
Yeah, no vowels. There's a Z in there somewhere.
Still on that Zena train.
But that's how we met. And we became friends, and we also got into comedy at the same time.
You got me into comedy.
I got you into comedy. You got me into comedy technically because...
No, you see, this is what happens. When you speak shit into the universe, shit happens. We're working there on a Saturday afternoon. Like on Saturdays, it was just 2 people. That was enough to cover phones. There's no dick problems on the weekends. Everybody pretends it's amazing.
Yeah, that was cool. We just hung out and took naps and hung out in our chonies.
For real. It was pretty dope. And I would be my dogs, and it was beautiful. But I'm sitting there, and I obviously don't want to talk about dicks for the rest of my life. That's not a career that I want. I asked him, how long you been here? I think it was a couple of years at that time.
Yeah, like a year or something.
I'm like, dude, tell me what your dream is. If you had a dream job, what would it be? And that's when you said, I'd be a stand-up comedian. And I was like, oh, that's pretty dope. And I wanted to be a musician. I still do. Let's see what happens. And so I decided, okay, I don't know what to do next, but I'm definitely not going to do this forever. So I went to Cerritos College and I signed up, and I just took fun classes. I took guitar, music production, theater, and as I'm looking at the classes, there's a fucking stand-up comedy class. And then I grabbed your ass and took you to Cerritos. He didn't want to go. He didn't want to go, by the way. He didn't want to go.
I didn't want to go, but I'm glad I did.
That was dope.
It was awesome. It was a really cool class, actually. The teacher, God bless his heart, he wasn't very funny, but it was cool. We went out and bought a book, and what was cool about it, every class...
You bought a book in college?
Yeah, I did.
What?
Yeah. That's what you got to do.
Remember when he got his degree a couple episodes ago?
Yeah. That's all. You got to put in that hard work.
So proud.
In every class, you had to come up with 5 brand new minutes of material. And he told us,
Brand new.
like, I would record myself. I had, like, a little recorder. And in the front of this class of, like, 20 people, I would do 5 minutes. And then
one time, one of your homeworks was you got to go perform.
yeah, we went
not
to,
just
like,
in class.
went to an actual club, and we all performed.
The cool thing about that is it's actually where we did that, or where I did that for the first time, was Wild Coyote in Montebello. It no longer is there. I think it starts with an A or something. I forget what it's called, but it's in Montebello, and that's kind of where a lot of Latin comedians started, like Fluffy, Gabriel, George, like all of them. That was like the club for the Latinos. It's like the Latin Comedy Union or something like that.
And Josh went.
Josh
and
went.
a lot of white comics started there, like myself.
This crackhead comic who used to run the show.
Yeah.
Super crackhead. He was expecting like 15 comedians. There was only 7 there. These motherfuckers trying to convince me. I'm like, I didn't come to do this shit. Like, no, man. I came to watch you guys. I came to get drunk and high, and I'm cool. And I got drunk and high, and then they convinced me, and I did it.
Nice.
Yeah, it was amazing.
No turning back. And all you did was just talk about, like, how your mom beat you, like, with a broom.
Well, that was my first joke, my Kunta Kinte joke.
Yeah, Kunta
Kunta Kinte.
Kinte. I'll never forget it.
Well, it's a true story. My mom broke a broom over my back. The Kunta Kinte part is made up.
Yeah.
But, I wish I would have done that. She still would have been confused as fuck. But my favorite part is when I got off on stage, you were pissed. Like, you and your whole little posse's like, really? You just fucking did that?
Yeah.
That was badass. Their look was like,
They're
what?
like, who's your
the
friend? I
fuck?
was like, I guess he's a comic now.
Motherfucker, I've been a comic my whole life. Yeah, but that's how we met. We met in Boston Medical Group when I was desperate for money after the real estate market crashed.
Yeah, good times.
Good times. See what happened? See how desperate times were? I had 80 G's in the bank at one moment, then I was fucking taking dick calls the next. Life is unpredictable. How do we meet, Tony?
I'd like to think that we still haven't really met.
We have. We totally have.
Actually, I mean, Josh, you met him talking about dicks, and I think we met by me calling you a dick.
Sounds
First words out of his mouth.
I saw him perform, and it was one of those events where I didn't even know these two worlds coexisted.
Oh, yeah.
Comedy and stripping. And that is one of the most confusing moments for a male.
Library.
You go to a strip club expecting breasts, and then Walter goes up, and those aren't the breasts that you expected.
But I had to.
Yeah.
Solid B cup.
But it's a weird way that they have like 2 dancers, they do their thing, and you're like, hell yeah, and your next comic. Wait, what?
Right when you're getting hard.
Right.
Bring up the
And
comedian.
the guy that hosted it, I don't know, he looked like
Chris.
an ugly Ron Jeremy. And Ron Jeremy is ugly.
Yeah, I was going to say, like,
yes.
where is there a version of Ron Jeremy's not ugly?
But he was funny, and he was a good host. But yeah, that threw me off. You have two to three beautiful strippers, and then you have this ugly guy come up and just be weird. So Walter performed. I came with a group of girls that I was unaware that they knew Walter. As far as I remember, things are a little hazy. I was pretty drunk. And then after his set, he came down because he knew the girls. So, of course, he's going to come down and say hi and everything. And
Word.
I didn't know who he was, so I'm like, what's going on? And he's like, so what'd you guys think? Now, I'm thinking, okay, a comic is asking me what I thought. So I'm like, man, you cuss too much. And he gave me this look like, who the fuck is this guy? Yeah. And that
Valid look.
Yeah, that was the
God bless
beginning.
you for being brutally honest all the time.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah. And I would like to think, not because of me, but he has cussed significantly less, only when it matters now. Whereas before, every other word was like, fuck, and it was loud. He was so loud.
So loud.
So loud.
And I just wouldn't stop
yell
moving.
into the mic, you know?
If I wasn't sweating.
And I remember that day was the first time I saw you, you pretended to be a penis. And
uncircumcised penis
yeah,
joke.
Yeah, with the hoodie.
With the hoodie.
hoodie.
It was a pink hoodie.
It's a classic.
It was
It was a reddish. It was a salmon color.
salmon. All
It's
right.
a throwback.
Also, the night I met
It's kinda
Maurice.
like what a penis would look like after, like when she's having a light day. You know what I'm saying? And you still dip.
That was the night I met Maurice
Oh,
with his
yeah.
salmon palms. Yeah.
That's inspired by him.
Yeah.
That's a joke inspired by my boy Josh.
Yeah. But no, from there on, it just became, I mean, I'm not going to say that I'm his biggest fan, but I've probably been to more of his shows than a majority of people. Mainly out of support. Also, just in case the audience is empty, I want at least one person there.
And he has saved the day a lot of times.
Yeah. Whether being a part of a joke or...
Yeah. Or being my one of 3 audience members. he's been there for me.
Right.
I appreciate it.
But I mean, since knowing him, since he is the subject of the interview for 8 years and for as long as I've known him, there, at least in my opinion, aside from the obvious like weight loss, I didn't know him when he was fat, so this is the Walter that I know.
True.
But I would venture to say,
we had good times.
yeah.
I've been thin that long.
I mean, I met you when you were
It's
thinner.
Like 3 years.
No way, he wasn't fat when you met him.
He wasn't fat.
Doesn't it
He
feel
was,
like I was fat already?
I think he was chubby, but he wasn't
you were
fat.
You know what?
started
I
doing
started.
comedy.
I started losing the weight though. It was during church, like at the tail end of
Yeah.
church lounge.
Okay.
Which is when I started losing the weight.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when it started happening. Like when we
But you
took those
still had all
headshots
the
with the
hair-
Dodgers. Like,
You still had all the hair though.
I still had all the hair.
Beautiful
All the hair.
rocks.
Colocho.
Had all the hair. You know?
But within that small time frame of your life that we've known you, there have been such huge, significant changes in your motivation, your direction, what you want to do, what you've been doing, and that's from like your own personal experience, the ups and downs that you've gone through, and that's kind of what I want to focus on today. A great part of this podcast is us giving our own personal spin on things in life that have some sort of value.
Yeah.
We try to be funny and we try to make sure that this is entertaining, but at the end of the day, we don't want you to watch this simply for chuckles, because that doesn't last long. That doesn't have an impact.
I mean,
And
it wasn't that long ago, like what, 2-3 weeks ago, where I made that a point. You know?
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't want to be a drinky show just all the time. I just love to drink. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie, but I wanna while I drink, and if I'm influenced by other things, I still let the brain to work and do what it does, And you guys are very insightful. You're very insightful. You're very deep, and so like I want that to be a staple of this show,
Yeah. And it definitely, I think it has been, considering the guests that we've had and what we've talked about. There's always going to be alcohol involved in this particular podcast because that's what brought us to the dance.
Well, in this particular hanging out, there's probably going to be some of that.
Yeah. But
Unless we're hiking.
So what that brings... Yeah, I've done that once.
I'm not drinking today because Tony brought me battery acid.
Yeah.
You asked for that shit.
I mean, I was being facetious.
So you're not going to drink
Nice
it
word
anymore.
choice.
No, I took
No,
one
it
sip and I
tastes
can
like
already
it's
feel
horrible.
my
Really?
ears.
It tastes like puke after the fact.
This is crazy.
Just try one
though.
sip and we're on camera.
Yeah, take a sip.
Try one sip.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's whatever.
It tastes like a beer that's been sitting out for like 3 4th of Julys.
With a grapefruit in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they squeezed. Yeah, that's right. It was a grapefruit.
And then a homeless
you know
guy
what? If you like
used it as
grapefruit, you might
mouthwash.
actually like that.
Yeah,
To be honest.
yeah, except for
I
that
hate
aftertaste.
grapefruit. Ugh. Yeah, but that's not good.
Hey, Ford Loco, don't. Like, how many tweakers are drinking this?
Yeah, a lot of tweakers.
Bad, man. It's
A lot
bad.
of meth heads.
Okay, so what I want to talk about first, what I want to know, because I don't think I know this, is, and I want to see if it has any bearing on what you do now. What was your very first job?
My very first job?
Very first job.
Hub Cities in the city of Cudahy.
Well, you
So I was
selling-
I was 14, I think it was.
So it was illegal.
So it was legal. I worked for the city of Cudahy.
Shout out to
through
Cudahy Tacos.
Yeah, so Hub Cities, and if you like listen to Dr. Dre, like the Compton album, they mention Hub Cities, Hub Cities is like southeast LA. And so it's all those pool of cities, and they had a program out of Huntington Park where if you were on vacation, you could go work, but you have to pass a math test and an English test. So if you didn't pass it, they'll still let you work, but a couple of days a week, you have to go and work on that. So it was a really cool little situation, And all we did was what those parks and recreation guys do. We go around cleaning up, changing trap, painting graffiti. So we were basically painting graffiti every fucking day. Because Cudahy, if you don't know Cudahy, smallest city, one of the poorest cities. When I grew up there, it was fucking 6 gangs. It was, 5 gangs. Well, actually, Cudahy Stoners, I'm not going to go through it. It was a lot of gangs, man. And the fucking city's only like 6 blocks long. So, yeah, that was my first job.
Do you think that instilled more love for your city? Because one of the things that you, in a lot of your acts, it's Cudahy.
Cudahy. Look, man, I feel like I am Cudahy in the sense that I'm that little guy. Even in my own Latin community, I'm Salvi. I'm not Mexican. I grew up in a predominantly Mexican neighborhood. There were moments where, there was a flood of other people, but it was mainly Mexicans around the whole time. And that's who I grew to love. And those are my best friends now, family, whatever. But initially it's a little challenging because we don't necessarily get along. You ever fucking go to a Mexico Salvador game?
I know a lot of Salvadorians.
Some people are gonna get stabbed. It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be pretty nuts. And but that was, to me, Cudahy is who I am. Who, like, even in life, I'm the one that has to try harder. I'm the one that, you know, as a youth, I did what Cudahy does, which is corrupt. You know, like I got corrupted a little, or I could have easily got corrupted. I saw a vagina at 7 years old. I saw weed at 9. I saw cocaine at 12. I had to go ask the leader of one of the gangs to leave me alone at 14 because they were courting people in. That is Cudahy. And in the way that's kind of life for me, like everywhere I go, there's a different challenge, there's a different hurdle, there's a different this, a different that. And that was just training. I have to love that, especially at this point in my life, like where I'm learning the beautiful aspects of failure and how fucking beneficial all my fuck ups have been to this point. Like,
even that one, yeah.
Yeah, even this one. My fuck ups have been probably the best thing ever. Now, at the time, obviously, they don't feel the case.
Yeah.
But for me, where I came from, like, you take my 2 DUIs. Yeah, I'm not a quitter. You take my 2 DUIs, that shit changed my life. And I wouldn't have stopped. I wouldn't have stopped driving blacked out. I wouldn't have stopped. I might have killed somebody. Like, all sorts of shit. I wouldn't have stopped if that whole thing didn't happen. If I didn't spend a few days in jail and, you know, torture my mom and watch her fucking lose 20 pounds in 2 weeks, like, that shit will shift you. I just didn't have that. And to me, that's why I'll just, one of my major goals, and it's not a goal like I want to own a house also, like, if I make it, it's because I brought Cudahy with me. Mm-hmm. Even if it's just the fucking name. I'm bringing Cudahy with me.
Yeah.
Because to me, that means I'm bringing all those little motherfuckers that, you know, got more hurdles than the lighter skinned folk.
Yeah, I find it funny. Josh, where are you from?
Who did you say? Lighter skin folk?
Lighter skin. Yeah.
I did. These people.
I'm from Bellflower.
Thank you. Okay. I ask you that because Bellflower is a small town as well, and I feel the same pride that Walter does with regards to the city. When people ask, like, let's say I go out of state, you know, where are you from? Oh, Bellflower. I don't.
Yeah.
What? Like, you know, I think someone would say the same thing for Cudahy. You have to be like, oh, it's near Long Beach.
Yeah.
Or it's, you know, like...
South of L.A. Like.
Right. So it's very interesting, the small town feel. And it's not even town. When you say small town, you think like Jefferson, Iowa, where like there's, you know, a town hall meeting and shit.
Right.
It's not necessarily that. It's the idea of the lack of affluence and just basically being broke, but not knowing that you're broke, just being like, well, fuck, it is what it is, you know?
Yeah. It's so interesting, the power of television. This is one of the things that stands out to me the most when I first left Cudahy. When I went to Cal State Fullerton, I lived there. I went to the dorms. And so it's going to sound stupid, and it's not factual because there were 3 white people in my school. Out of 2,700 people, there were a handful literally of white people. But it was so, and I was so embarrassed by it at the time, but it's so unaware at the same time. I had white roommates. There was my boy Devin in Stockton. Devin, if you ever come across this, I'd love to reconnect. I haven't seen you in fucking forever. But he had Dave Matthews Band tickets. I had a car. He didn't. He invited me to go. He said, give me the tickets and we'll split the cost of the trip. And I'm like, fuck it, let's go. So we went, right? And one of the first stops we do is we stop at Stockton and we go to his house. And I was just so impressed, first of all, because all my friends lived in apartments. That's what I grew up in. The one house I knew of, as far as like me going there and seeing it all the time, was where I was babysat as a baby, which then just became some random people. But it was a house. There was 2 houses in front of our apartment. Those were the 2 houses. And so it was one of those things where, first of all, just going to someone's house, of course you have a house. You're white. This is dope. Oh, shit. And you have a pool? Fuck, that's awesome. Fucking white people. You're
like,
so
you
rich.
don't have bars on your window?
Yeah. It was like all these little things, right? And he's like, what makes you think we're rich? He's like, if we were rich, why would I be on financial aid? Why don't I have a car? And I was like, just the little stupid things, right? Because in my head, I thought I saw Saved by the Bell. I saw Punky Brewster. I saw these white shows, right? And I felt like I knew them. I knew what they were about. had this. So they were all always well off. They were all. The power of that shit, which is kind of what I'm going through right now. Understanding how we get manipulated on a daily, you know. But at the time, it just embarrassed me. I was just so unaware. So that in itself was such a fucking blessing to go out of my element and learn about these people and black people and all these other people, Filipinos and all this stuff. It was just such a diverse setting. Man, that shit was dope to me.
Did you know that Punky Brewster was going to be hot?
No. I love those freckles, though. I know why I love freckles, and it's because of Punky Brewster. But I did not know she was going to need a boobie reduction at some
She
point.
got way hot.
Yeah.
So hot.
Super hot.
So hot, dude.
I remember when she came on that episode of like the Wonder Years.
Yeah.
And I was like, boing. I was like, is that Punky?
Who were your like
the
TV
same?
crushes?
Winnie who?
Did you have did you guys have TV crushes?
I did.
Yeah.
You know, mine was weird. I had a crush on Stephanie Tanner.
Really?
Yeah, she's not even cute. I mean,
from Full House?
yeah.
She was cute.
Well, I mean,
Well,
Wait,
DJ. I was more
Stephanie?
DJ.
Oh, DJ.
DJ.
yeah, it was.
No, Stephanie was the one across the street, right? The friend?
No, Stephanie was the middle child.
And for me, it was Uncle
She turned
Jesse.
out kind of hot.
Uncle Jesse.
Uncle Jesse.
Uncle
Oh,
Jesse.
that's what you wanted?
That dude does not
Stamos.
age.
I had a few, like Jessica Spano.
She's so excited.
So when Striptease came out,
The worst movie known to
my
man.
For me,
God, for
big
me,
time. Here, you.
I've watched it like 6 times.
Topanga.
Topanga too.
Topanga, Boy Meets
Topanga, fucking Jessica Spano, Lisa Turtle on
I
a
liked
good
Topanga
day.
until she started getting chubby.
Oh man, yeah. But those crushes, man. It's so funny when you watch them grow up now. What do you still have those crushes? Oh, actually ran into Topanga near the you know that railroad, like it's a hot dog restaurant on Sunset. That it's like a railroad cart.
Oh, and I do. I don't know what it's called, but I know what you're talking about.
Fucking that Saddleback.
I saw
worst club ever.
The guy from
Saddle Ranch.
Yeah, I saw the guy from American Pie there on Halloween. He was dressed up as Raggedy Ann, and he looked pissed. He must have
But I
lost.
ran into her there, and
must
she
have lost his
looked
Andy.
beautiful. I said hi.
Oh yeah. Melissa Milano.
Melissa
Who's the
Milano?
boss.
Is that her name's Alyssa?
Right?
Her name's
Dumbass.
Alyssa. Look, motherfuckers, if we ignore it, stop fucking. There's 3 of us, okay? If we don't fucking want to read it, we don't want to read it. For the love of God,
Right,
fuck,
Melissa.
they force
He
us.
wrote Melissa.
Shit.
Melissa Milano. Yeah. No.
Melissa, and then spell it right at least. Got fucking
Jesus Christ.
Mario back there. Hey, Melissa Milano. Fucking-
Is that
Which
Africa?
one? What is that? It looks like Africa
it's
upside
upside
down.
down
What the
Africa.
fuck
Give
is
Dan a
that?
box of crayons.
He's an
She's an artist. You know,
Fucking
funny
shit,
fact
like,
about
it was the Cowabunga side.
about Topanga. She's a wrestling fan.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've seen her at a number of PWG shows.
Hey,
Yeah.
what would you say if we fucking put a little comedy/wrestling event? We're thinking about it.
I know a lot of people that would
Yeah,
do it.
all right.
Yeah, I got some connects.
Well, we already have like the whole setup. We're just teaming
really?
up. Yeah, the guy already, the wrestlers, the ring.
What do you know who?
AW some shit.
AWS?
It's a little raw. Yeah, that one.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess it's a little raw. You could cuss. It's a little more of that
Yeah,
kind.
yeah.
Yeah, that kind.
Tip might fall out. Whatever.
So since you're hosting, you got the sign. You gotta kind of wrap it up for the break.
Yeah, I'm also down with wrestling too. I can pull out the tights. I used to wrestle back in the day under like the Abominable Taint.
Yeah, I get that.
I'm willing to.
What would be your
that
wrestling
back.
name?
I don't know.
I'll come back to you. You? You feel like you would know it already?
No.
No?
Like you already have a name for yourself.
You
I,
have
I never wanted to be a wrestler. I've always wanted to be
I
a
did.
writer for wrestling.
I did. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Even as a kid, when you watch wrestling,
I always
you
thought I
about
could do
writing.
it. I always thought I could do it better. Like
That's so. At what age did you think?
I thought you could do it.
probably
better.
not till like 13,
I thought you were
14.
gonna say like 3 years ago.
No, I started watching when I was 4, and
So that's interesting to me. At 13, you're already thinking like, I could write a better fake story than this.
yeah. I'm like, oh,
Like,
come on.
That's not believable.
I thought it was like real for like a long time.
I used to get mad when I was a kid.
My dad took me to the Forum to see Hulk Hogan, which was like my guy, and we sat like several rows back. And then it was a 2-on-1 match. It was like Earthquake and like Tugboat.
Oh,
And he was like he was getting the shit kicked out of him, and I was
Was it
begging and pleading with my dad. I was like crying. I was like, Dad, please help him. They're like, you know,
Get in there.
he was so good at like selling it. You know, he was so good.
By the way,
And I was like, Dad, please help him. They're killing him. And he's like, no, it's cool. Like, quit being a bitch. He'll be okay. Like, trust me.
He's about to Hulk up.
I think Earthquake had the
Hulk up.
worst fucking move. Like, you know, he would bounce around you and shake it. Like, he just embarrassed you because your titties moved, you know? It's like, oh, fuck this
He
guy.
just hypnotized you.
And he just hypnotized with
And
his
then would
titties.
just squash you.
Rest in peace.
On that note, we're going to take a short break. We will come back with more from Walter Reyes. We're going to talk about, you know, things of nature and whatever.
Yeah. So good. He's so
You're
good.
natural.
Every week I need you to just host.
We'll be back.
Do the Wayne's World thing. Wayne, we don't need you to count along.
And welcome back to the Speakeasy Podcast. I'm Josh, your vanilla gorilla. Back with Walter, Tony.
What's up?
We kind of want to pick up where we left off a little bit. I know we talked about how you've kind of like changed your life and how going to jail and then not getting hit on really affected you. And
I'm an Aquarius.
so he was kind of actually butthurt that he didn't get.
I wanted to be. I was butthurt that I wasn't butthurt.
Yeah, you were butthurt that you weren't butthurt.
Yeah, it was bothersome.
And about how it changed your life. And
It did.
I know coming from my perspective is like being like this guy, like, yeah, we're friends, but like I tell people like I mention him in conversation like as my brother.
Right.
Like this is my brother.
And I view you the same way because during that ordeal, you were right there. You're the reason I got out. You're the reason that my mom kind of hung in there. My mom loves you to death because of what you did for me.
I had to go visit his mom, and she was not doing well, and I didn't
she was not.
We never want to see her like that again.
You never want to see your second grade honors student end up in jail.
Yeah, no.
It's high aspirations to live by.
No, they're not.
But I know I've told you this, is that like I'm super proud of you, like the transition you've done and like how much you've like grown up and where you've taken yourself, and not only what you have done for yourself, but what you've done for me, honestly. Like, I mean, there's a lot of that. I don't know if Tony knows a lot about like what like I've gone through and how you've always just been there for me and how you always want to help people, and like your passion for life is just super infectious. And it's just like, I don't know where I'd be without you. That's for sure.
Aww.
Well, you know, a good way to find out what Josh has been through is to visit us in 2 weeks
And check my browser
when we
history.
interview Josh. And check his browser history.
Check his browser history.
Black Twitter.
Yeah, Black Twitter.
Black Twitter. How'd that go?
It was dark. I don't mean like that. I mean like it's scary. Like, well, I don't mean like that either. Never mind. No more Black Twitter for me.
One of the things that I know I see about Walter is, well, I want to call it something along the lines of like growing pains, where over the past, let's just you know, pencil it down to maybe like 2 years, I'd say, you have become more political vocally, as opposed to internally. I have ideas. I think this sucks. I think this sucks, but not voicing it, possibly because you didn't have enough information, possibly because you just didn't want to.
No.
Whereas now you're like, you know what? I have a platform. I have a voice. I have followers. I want to inform. I want to give them this. And I think that from my perspective and seeing it all, it's not like you're talking to a wall at all.
Oh, right.
However, it's like, I'm not saying this for you guys as much as I'm saying it for myself.
That's where I was going to get at.
Yeah.
You know, you mentioned like, oh, now I realize that I have a platform or platforms or followers and all that stuff. Honestly, that has nothing to do with it. Because all it is I started giving a fuck. That's all it is. I started caring. Like right now, I'm in this, and I'm not doing it. Fucking had meat twice today. But I'm thinking about not eating meat. Because I do fucking love animals. I love almost all of them, except cats. Fuck cats.
Would you eat?
I have a cat now.
I don't like street cats, dude. We got chased by cats. Me and Cube got chased by a black cat.
Fucking awesome.
Fuck you, cat. That's all I'm gonna say, dude.
Would you eat a cat?
No, I'm not gonna eat. No.
Oh, okay.
No, not even out of spite. Because one shitted on me.
I don't know how to, like,
old.
I know you go on walks, and there's this giant pig that, like, lives in a yard.
So adorable.
And I seen him mess with him.
And he's not adorable, really.
I was like, how can you eat bacon after, like, hanging out with a giant pig
cool.
like
He
that?
walks towards us every damn time, unless he's sleeping.
Sounds like it's almost ready.
Yeah.
He's like saying, here I am.
Cold-blooded.
Wouldn't you like to put me with some lettuce, tomato, and mayo?
No, man. So, I mean, for real, seriously, I just started caring.
Mm-hmm.
I got to a point where it wasn't cool to live with mom anymore. I mean, it never was, but even though it was comfortable, oh yeah, I did.
I don't know if she has hard hearing or not, but
no, my mom could listen very well, and a couple of ladies have been called putas. Like straight to the door, being called putas. Get that puta, saca esa puta de aquí. So yeah, that's literally happened. But you know, it just came to it where I just got tired of having unfulfilled potential. I got tired of like, you know, being in this place, in this position where I got tired of just not giving a fuck, really. I wanted more. Like, this is not life. This is not like living with mama and yeah, it's enabling when you have girls that don't give a fuck and they still come over and they'll date you and it's like whatever. It's like, nah, I don't care if you live in a senior citizen apartment complex with your mom. It's cool. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I was impressed by how many like just didn't give a fuck.
Yeah, they didn't give a fuck. So I lived since a youth, like, because I was catered to. You know, I was kind of a single kid till, or a lonely single. What's the term? Fucking lonely child. Yeah, lonely child, only child.
Yeah.
Both. You know, till like I was about 8, and then my sister showed up. It was just. I was just given what I wanted. Even though it was cut hay, I still had $124 Nikes. Like, I don't know how the fuck that happened when you're 13, but I lived.
You learn not to ask questions.
Yeah, I just went with it. Dude. I just went with it, you know?
Thanks, Mom.
I'm glad. And I don't know, I can't really explain what it was, but there just came a day where I was like, fuck this, dude. This is not what I'm meant for. I know I'm better than this. I know I'm intelligent. I know I'm creative. I know I have skills. I just knew that I was meant for more. And even though people told me that for years, I just didn't believe it. And now I know why. If you know, I spent most of the years, and prior to 2 years ago, maybe like 3 or 4 years ago, I started, at that point when I got fed up, I knew the problem was my brain. I just knew, because it wasn't my attitude. It wasn't my spirit. It wasn't my talent. It wasn't my ability. It wasn't my potential. It was just my brain. Something in my brain was stopping me. And I got obsessed with that. And if you're out there, dude, and you want to do something for yourself, get obsessed with your brain. Understand how the fuck you process thoughts. Understand how you make decisions. Understand how you take actions. It doesn't happen like you wake up and you're like, I'm going to do this. How many times have you found yourself going like, why did I do that? It didn't even feel good. Why did I fucking go do that? Why did I waste my time doing that? I don't even feel good about myself right now. That, I learned, is the subconscious mind fucking with you. You have to understand that 80% of your personality comes from the first 8 years of your life. And it's something very profound when you find yourself realizing, holy shit, look what I went through. At 7 years old, my stepfather was telling me that I was going to be a cholo, that I was going to be a failure, that I wasn't going to be shit. At 7 years old, I loved this man. And I looked up to him, and he was an adult, and I had to, like, you're supposed to believe adults. I'm 7 years old. I believed them. I didn't even think about it. I didn't discover till fucking December 4th, 2016, that thought right there got put into my fucking brain, and I believed it ever since. There's something called the realm of reality versus the realm of meaning. Realm of reality is real life events that happen. You can never change it. Can never, ever, ever change it. It happened. Unless you fucking find yourself a time machine, you can't change it. The realm of reality is the story you attach to that. And I attached a belief to what he said. And once I discovered that a couple of years ago, That's when everything changed. So when you say like 2 years ago, it was December 4th, bro. Okay. December 4th, 2016, where everything just took like another level. Like it just went to another level. Because I knew what the source was. Mm-hmm. And for me now, that is like what you mentioned, like I love helping people. How do you hold on to this information? You know, like this is why I love Cut Ahead. It's not like because I was there. It's just I know there's hundreds, if not thousands of me there still right now, not knowing how to navigate through traumatic family matters or, you know, fucking dangerous environments. You know, I literally had to guess which way to make it home every day. Mm-hmm. I had to guess.
You had to change shirts.
I had to change. I didn't literally do that, but I had to choose between 3 or 4 streets. Which one am I going to gamble on today? Which one am I going to, you know, those little things to navigate through that kind of world. It really helps to have your brain like in the right mindset. So it's not the platforms. It's just, I started giving a fuck about myself. And now I give a fuck about pandas and fucking bugs and bees and oceans and pollution. And I'm realizing, I don't even know what I still care about. I'm discovering that right now. I didn't even know that I cared about politics.
Yeah.
I fucking actually hated it. I avoided talking about it. I didn't want to talk about it. But when you see the corruption that's going on, the blatant brainwashing that's been occurring for the last 30, 40, 70 years, and now it's all happening, it's all taking place, and people are fucking asleep, just quiet as fuck, just watching the Kardashians inject themselves and break up and fuck black dudes and like and fucking just random ass boring ass entertainment that's just meant to distract you while behind the scenes everything is being taken away from you legally. They're creating legal channels to take your property whenever the fuck they want. No matter if you pay your taxes, no matter if you're a good citizen, no matter what, at any moment they can come and grab your shit. That kind of awareness now, when you start giving a fuck, you become aware of other people, other beings, your friends, like more concerning. Like, I care about Josh. You know, you mentioned something like...
I don't care about you. Sorry. I don't know if you just noticed that.
Josh, I'm self-sufficient.
Yeah, okay. He don't need no help. Yeah. He don't need no help.
You forgot you're all good.
You know, I've spent a lot of money and a lot of time learning to navigate through my own brain, and I didn't know that this was going to happen. But this is what happens when you do that. You figure out what you really love and what you want to spend your time doing, and then you realize what you care about. Like I just kind of, and I'm still selfish because I don't ever want to not be that. Because when you're selfish, you satisfy your needs, and it puts you in a place where now you can fulfill others. You could enable yourself to care for others and help others. And that to me is what it's all about. Whether you're an animal or a fucking human, I'm going to try, but I'm still going to eat you for now.
Yeah, well, one of the reason why I asked that, and you touched on it a couple times, but the reason why I bring it up mainly is to, realistically speaking, we've talked about it before. I don't agree with half of what you post. I don't, like, it's not even that I don't agree. I just don't care.
Yeah.
But every single time you post something, I automatically look it up. Every single time. And and it hits me afterwards, like, I wouldn't have looked it up prior to that. So maybe I don't care. I care about information. I'm an information hound, you know, like I just want to know what's going on.
I've become that.
Yeah, I'm not going to comment on anything. I see people say shit to you where like, well, what about this or what about that?
It's so hard too because you never know like what's fake news, what's real.
Yeah.
So it's just like
you have to do your homework.
You do. And then and you could see the replies to everything he posts. There's so many like logical fallacies that there's one person in particular a long time ago. This is the impetus behind bringing this up. You posted about the change in the gaming industry and the laws whereas before you could not bring trophies back to America.
Oh yeah.
Now you can. And then a certain
you talk about big game.
Yeah.
Ball game.
Not Monopoly.
Yeah, not gambling.
and how the alteration of that law or the restriction of it or the removing of the ban. And then someone commented a long comment on your post, and I'm not going to say who it is, but it was filled with holes, just from an argumentative standpoint, from an English major's, mindset of logical fallacies. I was like, that doesn't even hold water. Yeah. So at that point, it's like, I'm not even interested in the topic itself as much as the argument. So I'm looking at both sides. So the one thing that I've noticed that you've done, and the one you even did it 3 times in the last time you spoke, was, and this is very important to anyone that has this mindset, because you see this a lot now. You see so many people posting politics, opinions, strong-minded people posting just anything, whatever the hell they want. But one thing that you have that I don't want you to lose, and I don't think you will, is the readily admitting to either being wrong or not being ready.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And that's really important. Like saying like, I'm not ready to stop eating meat. Like that's an incredibly selfish thought. And it doesn't make any sense when you're like, I'm considering giving it up because I love animals, but not yet. To anyone else, that'd be like, well, then don't say it.
Yeah.
But admitting that you're not ready for that and saying that you're on the path to it is a big statement. I gave up meat for this month. It has nothing to do with cuddly pandas. I just wanted to lose some. I didn't want to be a cuddly panda.
What's wrong with being a cuddly panda?
We are an embarrassment of pandas.
Yeah.
I just found that out. That's what they call a little posse of pandas. They call them an embarrassment of pandas.
An embarrassment of pandas?
So that's going to be my squad. Let's be an embarrassment of fucking pandas.
The reason why I bring it up is you posted something, I think it was just last night, about failure, about the importance of it. And you mentioned it just a little bit ago. I feel that that's a big deal. I feel that all 3 of us have had failures. I feel like considering
everybody, man.
I fail all the time still.
Yeah. But I mean, we say everybody. I wrote a poem. I'm writing a poem a month or a day for this month. Yeah. And one I wrote about it was a joke. It was about a first date and about a girl who has the similar mindsets of you, looking through a menu at an American, restaurant for the gluten-free section. Like that bothers me. I don't know why. It just bothers me. Like, what gluten is because you want it to be free. Why are you looking? You should know. You know what's in there. If you don't, you're just being a dick.
Like you want everybody to know in the restaurant.
Yeah.
Like, where's the gluten free?
Yeah. Asking for certain things so that people could hear you. Like there's different people that have that approach. Whereas I feel that thankfully you're not one of those people because you're posting stuff that you believe in. And if someone says, Walter, you're looking at this with too much passion and not enough information, then you say, okay, give me the information. And you're ready for it, I
asked for it.
And there's another person that you remind me of who I plan on having in the show in the future, who does the same thing. You don't know him, but you'll meet him. But I can't harp on you. I can't sit and talk with you and say, Walter, we got to talk, man. You're half-assing your passion. That's the thing. I don't think you're doing that. So
I just can't, man. To me, authenticity. If you lose that shit, if you lose who you are, you're fucked. And people will look through that. I could see it in a heartbeat. I could fucking smell you walk into an establishment and you're full of shit. Mm-hmm. I just don't ever want to be that, man. Ever. I refuse. So if I have to reinvent a company or I have to like change things, I'll fucking do it. It's humility is one of the things that I've learned throughout this whole process. Because I wasn't humble. Mm-hmm. I was not humble because I was enabled to be proud. Like we just talked about me living at mom at a senior center apartment complex. Like that's a real fucking story, people. That's literally where I fucking lived. And I was enabled by beautiful women who had shit going for themselves and still came over.
Like as soon as the girls would have been like, I'm not gonna fuck you at some old folks' home, and you probably would have been like, "Fuck,
oh
I'm not
shit,
gonna
this
get
is a problem."
This is a problem. Okay, I guess I need to get out of here then. If it's,
this is not acceptable.
This is keeping me.
Mom, I gotta move.
Yeah. They won't fuck me here no more, Mom. I told them we won't wake you up.
Oh, that's putas.
That's putas.
A lot of it comes with, I think, I try not to stereotype unless it's funny, but the Latino stereotype of a single mother. And we're the only male, like you and myself have that in similarity. We are the shit. My mom told me every day I'm the best everything ever. And look at me now. I think I'm the shit. Like, that's not healthy. That's
the way you use it, bro.
Thanks, Mom. No, I mean, really, a lot of it, good. Yeah.
There is good to it, but there is some backlash that comes when being coddled like that and being like nurtured like that. But fuck it, man. It is what it is, and we went through what we went through. But I just refuse to play the role. And you know what? I will admit that I look at my posts and I look at my pages and I could see that it's worth hating. That it's worth like, this motherfucker, come on. Come on.
Yeah.
You know, I could see it, but it doesn't fucking matter anymore.
Right. And you know what I do?
It's real.
I read your posts and I think to myself, what would I say if I didn't know him? Right? That's what I say every single time. And there's most of them where I'm like, he's passionate. You know, like that makes me want to look into it. Some of them where I'm like, Walter, shut up.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's 3 a.m. Stop. You know,
and I could be drunk.
Yeah. but the idea is that there's a lot to be said about the energy behind one's passion, whatever it may be. And you know, one of the things that I think that I wouldn't call it a failure, but I feel like one of your weaknesses is that you have 10 fingers and all 10 of them are in something different. You know.
And like you need 20.
Yeah, you're right. But
20 holes.
But I will not deny that you put so much energy in all 10 of those items. You know?
Do.
It's just a matter of harnessing it, putting it into the thing that's beneficial. And this isn't advice. This is an observation. Because I think that we all need to do it as well. You know, like for a perfect example, you know, breaking the fourth wall a little bit is the podcast. This thing right here. This is 5 guys meeting at a place every week with no one else telling them to do so.
No money, no love.
Yeah,
just literally giving our artwork, from providing a studio by Mario to filming the content, editing, setting it all up, uploading it to YouTube. Dan Huerta, by the way, Mario Lopez. You know, it got Josh. This is just passion, dude. This is what it's about.
Pure passion.
Pure passion, dude. Pure passion, and I fucking love it. That's what it's about.
I mean, Dan interrupts his porn sessions just to, post our shit.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
He's only jacking off 3 times a day now.
It's sad.
Yep.
So sacrifice.
Sorry, man.
Sacrifice.
We'll get you back to Bang Bus.
Yeah.
That's what we do. You know?
Yeah.
But look, I do and you're catching me in that journey right now. And this whole last week, I spent reevaluating everything. I have this notebook right here. And I'm sore right now. And you could actually, and I'm not fucking joking, this is normally not purple. I just realized that. I was like this for 6 hours in this notebook, writing all day Sunday. I had to reevaluate everything because one of the books that changed me was The One Thing by Gary Keller and Jay Papasan. Read that book. If you don't know what to do, if you lost, whatever, but it's all about your energy. You know, you imagine like a star. Imagine a circle and you're into everything. There's a bunch of little directional arrows going every which way, maybe this long. But you focus on one thing, and that arrow can reach much further. Your energy could reach much further. I know the value of energy, and I know the value of time, and I understand that. But what I did this week was reevaluate my one thing. Initially, I thought my one thing was stand-up comedy. And it's not. My one thing is being creative. That's my one thing. And I realized it was a problem because if stand-up comedy was my one thing, that's all I would want to fucking do all the time. And it's not. I want to do this. I want to help others. I want to see 2 Mondays ago, I sat with a couple and they didn't think they were going to get pre-approved for a home loan, and I pre-approved them, and that face and how their daughter was and how they were just sitting at me and and Adriana, the realtor, that shit was priceless to me. And I realized how I felt at that moment. I'm not wasting my time doing this. I want to help others. I want to do more because I spent 35, 36 years not giving a fuck. And it's not all of a sudden, but through understanding how my brain works and blah, 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 I care now. And now I just got to make sure that my energy is spent doing what I love doing. You know, recently, and I posted this maybe a couple days ago, was if you're not saying hell yes to something, you might as well say no to it, period. Because you're just wasting everybody's time, especially yours. So that's what I did. And I just made sure that everything I'm into, so that's how I feel about it. And I do. You know, like if I slice it up, Walter Lenz, follow that page. That's real estate. But I don't give a fuck about the real estate part. I give a shit about all these fucking shitty ass, greedy motherfuckers taking advantage of people. That's 80-90% of the industry. That's what I want to fucking shake up. That's what I want to expose. Fuck these fools. You know, it pisses me off. Solarbox, my new venture. Go follow Solarbox SoCal on IG. That shit, I'm a hiker. That's what changed my life health-wise. Hiking, nature, I've always loved it. Solar is environmental. And I get to do, I'm only handling the creative aspect, marketing, all that stuff. Again, it's what I love to do. You know, the podcast, this shit is fun. Are you kidding me? Everything I'm doing, it matters, but you have to be aware of what you just said about the whole sticking your fingers in all these holes, you know? You have to watch it out. So I took literally this whole week, I took that time to make sure that
pulled some fingers out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got like about 4 fingers.
Not enough fingers.
Yeah. 3 or 4 fingers left right now.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's one of those things that I learned the hard way. And actually, it was just recently where, you know, at one time I was pretty much Jamaican. I had like 6 jobs, you know, no lie, not to mention side gigs and writing, you know, as much as I could. And it got to the point where it was the same question you asked. Where's the passion? Where is it driving you? What would you choose over everything else if you had to choose, you know?
Stand-up comedy.
Yeah. And that's, I mean, in your case, at least, that is creativity.
Yeah.
That's constant creativity. That's
especially what I aspire to do with it. Like,
yeah.
And I still haven't done it. Definitely have not touched I don't think I've even scratched my potential, to be very frank with you, because I haven't spent hours writing.
Yeah.
I still haven't. I spent moments writing, not hours writing.
Hours writing is...
It makes a difference.
It's like you're legitimately leaving wherever you're at and going somewhere else.
I compare it to meditation.
Yeah, it definitely
That's what happens to me when I write. It's like meditation, because in meditation you start off distracted, but as you repeat your mantra and you do what you think, I do transcendental meditation. As you repeat your mantra, you cool down, you relax, your body chills out, and then you go into another fucking zone.
Yeah,
that's
I
what
think
happens.
there's something to
with
be said too, actually, because a lot of people now like all on computers and this, but I think there's something to be said for actually taking a pen to a piece of paper.
So much,
like it flows through you, and like
I can't. I'm not even lying, people.
Yeah.
I spent all fucking like the whole weekend just fucking writing.
Yeah, I mean,
no, I'm good. Thanks, Mario. There is something way different, and even as I'm writing every letter, it allows me more time to think as I'm writing.
Writing is very essential. I mean, I organize a show every week. We don't even go off of this half the time.
Yeah,
but I have to write it.
Yeah.
I have to. In college, I distinctly remember, if you recall, I took like an 8-year break. Then I went to Cal State Long Beach. And I remember the first day of my first class was in a lecture hall. I get in there. It's this small ass desk, like super small, like a notebook won't even fit on it. Class starts, and everybody, you know, the professor's up in the front, and everybody opens up their laptop. And I have a clipboard with like 10 pieces of paper on it and a pen. And I'm looking around because all I hear is clack, 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 clack. And I'm taking notes, and I'm like, what the fuck? And the teacher's like, please reference slide 6. And everyone's like, okay, go into slide 6. And I'm just like,
what slide?
Why don't you have the slide?
This slide should be up there.
What did I miss? I mean, it was only 8 years, but damn. So yeah, there's something to be said about the written word.
Let's go back to a part 3.
Yeah. Yeah, seriously. But no, you know, I find it very interesting that our, well, the last thing that I think I wanted to talk about was age. And it's very, very, when growing up, okay, I thought all adults knew everything, period. Yeah. You know, that's just, well, yeah, you know. And then it hit me maybe like 5-6 years ago when I was like 24, 25, and my stepdad and I were talking, and I'm like, hey, what were you doing at my age? And he's like, I was raising you. Oh, fuck.
Crazy. Think about that shit. I'm almost 25. Like, you ain't got no kids, I ain't got no kids, you ain't got no kids.
None that we know of.
We are smart.
No, we're just lucky as fuck.
We're going to take a little quick break. I'm just going to kind of jump in right now because we got signing going on. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with part 3 of the show.
And we're back.
And we're
Easy
back.
Podcast. I'm serious. We're here. Your Vanilla Gorilla, Walter Reyes, Batman.
He's the best host ever. You're the best
I'm never
host
doing
ever.
this again.
Yeah, you are.
You're doing it next week.
Yeah, you're a natural.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
I'm
gonna host
natural.
next week too.
Okay. I'm excited.
Call you a hostess, my little cupcake.
Maybe it's
Hostess.
because of the battery acid I drank. I don't
Yeah.
know.
You only drink one Loco.
I'm surprised this cup is still intact.
Yeah.
Like if that would by now I would like fucking melted it or it's a little acid style.
I
Well,
want to see what happens when I pour it on a snail or something.
oh, poor snail.
He turns into like a mutant snail.
Holy shit! You might create the.
This
first
is how the Ninja
Turtle.
Turtles were made.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
That's the ooze.
The secret of the ooze for Loco.
Secret has been found.
I see a sequel coming. Another movie.
For Loco, the new sponsor.
Yeah. But instead of eat pizza, they just tweak all the time.
Oh,
They just do meth.
I can see it.
It's not that cool at all.
Yeah.
So let's get back on topic.
What is the topic, Josh?
It's this young gentleman here.
Old gentleman,
Old gentleman. Gray bush.
gray bush. Not yet.
Not you.
It's coming in though.
Silver fox.
Coming in. Nice, nice. Little skunky action coming in.
You know, speaking of age, Walter, it's
Yeah.
finally happened to me where I was working at the bar and a female patron came in, and it turns out she's a teacher, and she knows my little brother. And she was flirting, very obviously. And you know, I have a lot of arrogance, but in terms of like looks, like I don't really. I just put that aside. You know, I'm like a 7 tops.
That's why he's
you know?
arrogant.
Yeah. Yeah, but behind the bar,
Puts that aside.
yeah, I ignore that. I ignore the fact that I'm ugly
He
completely.
ignores his
right?
Afghanistan beard.
Right.
He thinks that's a good thing. Right?
This isn't even a beard, bro.
Yeah.
I know. It's
It's
a
a
dust
beard.
storm under his chin.
It's a geared. It's a gay beard. A
It's like
geared.
pencil
geared?
shavings on a picture. Yeah. Well, anyways, when you're behind the bar, you're automatically hotter. I learned that a long time ago.
Oh,
you're,
for
you're
sure.
Oh yeah, like we're on stage. I get it. Dude.
Yeah, you know, right? You're the bartender.
I got hooked
So-
up when I was 340 pounds.
Like
when
you
I was
could
on stage.
totally tell there was a little bit of a vibe, and then I started talking to her, and then I went to talk to my little brother. Like, oh yeah, do you know this teacher? She's like, oh yeah, blah 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 blah, and then he's like, I know who she is. That's a teacher. She's old, and I'm like, huh? She's not. I'm older than her, and it's like,
shit, for real?
yeah, she's
How old
like,
is your brother?
he's like 15, 16.
He's a dick.
Yeah, he is a dick. It's all actually it's pretty awesome.
Tony's
How
not
old is she?
She's like 20 something. At least that's what I think. I didn't ask her
But in
age.
his head,
but-
that's old.
yeah.
But doesn't okay? But that makes sense to me because look, when I was about to graduate high school, I thought they teach you how to start planning out your life, college, and then what's gonna
None of
happen,
that.
right? And I'm all none of that.
None of that happened for me. We went to different high
Bellflower
schools.
Unified.
Oh shit! But you know, it was just like you know, it just I thought by 25 I would have a house, a wife, kids, dogs.
Oh wow,
I thought that was old.
that is ambitious.
I thought that was old though.
Yeah.
I thought 6-7 years later that's old. I'm talking about I was 17 going into 18. I'm thinking like this, like, all right. So I got to go to college, and it's gonna take me 4 years, and by those 4 years, and I'm in somewhere in college, I got to meet a lady. Like I have to meet a lady. Not like it's gonna happen. Maybe hope it happens. It was like it's gonna happen.
Oh, yeah.
And then I'm gonna fuck her and impregnate her and get marry her, whatever order that
God, that
goes.
sounds romantic.
Yeah.
I hate to interrupt. I got a request for me to go back on Instagram Live because
Oh,
they
you
were
have
listening to this deep shit, is what the text said.
Oh shit. dude.
We'll continue
Saying?
while I
They
set
can
up
go
here.
into buying if you want.
Yeah, tell your mom thanks for the shout out too.
My mom doesn't
Yeah,
like
thanks,
you.
Mom. Thanks for the shout out. You're dope.
She did give us a shout
She
out.
did.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
did.
Yeah, she
that
did.
was like a
Last
sweet
week.
shout out. She don't even know Josh.
Yeah, but she
She would love
I like
Josh.
him. Yeah,
Yeah.
she would love Josh. She
Yeah.
would love you. You know. Yeah.
Mom's like-
So the reason why I bring up age is at your age right now, you have absolutely zero of what you said you were supposed to have at 25.
Yeah.
Like not even a little bit.
Zero.
And
and you're okay with that.
yeah, and you know like-
Beyond.
right. And why? Why are you okay with it?
Because, again, all with the brain, I was conditioned to think that's the evolution of our life, right? You fucking get born, you go through school, you go to college, get your degree, find your lady, live happily ever after. that's what we were taught throughout school, throughout life.
Sounds exhausting.
You know, for real. And so that's what we were taught. That's just, we were brainwashed that way. When your system is like, nah, that ain't us, dog. That is fucking not us. That's not us. Let's stop trying to force that. I'm like, yeah, you know what? And one of my biggest battles is religion. Like faith. I struggle with that motherfucker. Because I believe in science, but I believe in energy and spirituality. And that just creates confusion. You know, but I battle with it. It's tough for me. But all this conditioning is something that I had to just overcome, because how I feel and what my gut tells me and what my neural system tells me, that matters more. Because that's what I have to live with on a daily. That's what I have to do daily, is live with that, right? I have to live with my actions daily, how I feel daily, what my spirits are daily. That's what I have to deal with. So I'm so happy that I don't have to worry about what my son's doing. I'm so happy that I don't have to report myself to anybody. And I don't mean to belittle marriages and all that shit, but you do have to. If you go that hard and you put a ring on it and now you create a family and a unit, you're responsible for that fucking unit. You gotta come through and you gotta protect it and you gotta do what you gotta do, because you decided to create that unit. So I'm not ready for that.
Yeah.
I'm still young in my evolution. That's where I'm young at, you know? Like,
I think that's the problem too, is with marriage, it's like what it's become. It's like, hey, we love each other so much, like, let's involve the government. Like, that's a good idea, right? Like, we'll write this and we'll come up with a contract of how
I'd rather
we love
chill
each
with
other.
her for 10 years
Yeah.
and then eventually have to involve the government.
Let's put our love on paper and put a contract on it.
Well, the idea of marriage has changed a lot, and it ties a lot in with the idea of religion and the idea of institutions in general, mainly because of the mentality of the world as a whole. I mean, it used to be that I include all three of us, were a youth movement of new ideas. Now we're older, and our new ideas are no longer ideas. They're simply the way that we live.
Yeah.
You know, I have no intention of getting married. I have no intention of having children.
Yeah, me
ever. You know,
I don't know.
I'm not saying it won't happen. I'm simply saying I have no intention of doing so.
I'd like the marriage part. I'm not gonna lie. I'd like that.
I feel like you have a few kinks to work out.
I have a lot of kinks to work out.
Yeah.
I have a lot of kinks to work out. I have a lot of kinky work. I do. I definitely do. And, you know, we could go into that shit too, man. Like, to me, that was one of my, that's still probably one of my biggest heartbreaks, is the change that happened with my biggest heartbreak. It changed me completely, but that happened because I was weak-minded at that time. So that in itself is something else I'm navigating through, because I want that fucking amazing love. I was always a romantic as a kid. Always, dude. I used to fall asleep to the coast at 8, 9, 10 years old.
The coast did make me fall asleep,
You know, it's fucking
But in
63
the worst way
degrees
possible.
along the coast. With Mike's, what is this, Scasarides or some shit?
I don't know,
like
that's the
whatever.
show.
But I wrote poetry and I used to fucking record all these love songs, and when that happened, it's just, it changed, you know? And I fucking hate that it changed.
Yeah, that sucks for you.
It does.
Yeah.
It really does, because I was the guy that if I liked you, if I had a crush on you, it was over. No one else existed. And that changed. You know, that changed. And I do have a lot of kinks to work out, and I want to work them out. And that's what I'm trying to do. And it's something that I have to do on my own and navigate through it by myself. But that's the one thing I would like. I would love a loving home. Kids, I'm too selfish for that shit.
Yeah.
I want to travel. I want to fucking pick up and go to a concert in a fucking split of a second without having to find a babysitter. Like, I even, like, you know, I have a dog, and that's just like, ugh, who's going to take care of my dog if I want to take a trip?
Yeah.
I gotta fucking think about the finances involved in getting a doggy hotel and whatever the hell. Like, I'd rather do that.
Yeah, kids are expensive.
Kids are expensive.
I
I can leave my dog for a weekend.
I have a nephew who's, I think, like 1.5 now, and I've been at my sister's house frequently to do our little Marvel marathon before Infinity War comes out, and he's there. and I want to throw a pillow at this kid every 5 seconds. Like, he annoys me. There's a table in the center of my sister's house, and he runs around it constantly. And a part of me thinks there's something wrong with his mind, like that's mental retardation. And another part of me just wants to trip him.
Is it?
No, it's just a kid being a kid.
Yeah.
Oh,
but it's like.
I was asking Josh.
Well, he has a degree now.
Because I'm the expert.
like
He's the expert on retardation.
I just want to trip him, or I'm at work behind the bar and I hear a
I
child
do that to strangers' kids at a fucking restaurant.
Yeah, I hear a child yelp really loudly. And immediately I'm like, hey, no, none of that. And then I realize that's not my kid. I can't say that.
Yeah.
Or there's a kid like in the bar area and I have to walk around this child and I'm like, what? Where are your parents? I don't know. I'm just not.
Do you have even like an ounce of concern? Not concern. For me, I'm not even gonna ask you a question. For me, I have, and follow me. It'll end up being a question. Just follow me. I have moments when I look at, for example, one of my cousin, my two cousins, Brian, William, they had their babies, and they're so happy, and they're beautiful kids. And sorry, William, I haven't seen your baby. I feel awful about it, but I haven't got a gift, so I can't show up without a gift. But I see how beautiful they are. And I feel like maybe later on, maybe I fuck up with a relationship and I'm lonely. And I'm like, damn, I wish I would have had some kids. Mm-hmm. There's an ounce of me, there's a little piece of me that's like, am I going to regret this? Am I going to regret like the Reyes name kind of dying off? Yep. Am I going to regret that?
That's me too. I'm the last Mulder. I have... a half brother, but we don't share the last same name. I'm the last Mulder. So if I don't have a son, then the Mulder name is done in my family.
Same thing with me. In my Salvadorian, I know Reyes is a very popular last name, especially in the Philippines, fucking Spaniards. But, I know it's a popular name, but in my family unit, I'm the last one. Because for some reason, they're 7, 8 siblings with my mom's family, and 6 of them have different last names. Grandma.
Sounds about right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Grandma got it in. But so I battle with that. But that's another conditioning thing.
Yeah.
How important is my last name? It was given to me via rape.
Yeah.
How proud should I be about being a Reyes?
If I have a child, his name or her name will be Oops. And
I did it again.
That would be the second baby. I mean, I'm sure I'm perfectly capable of parenting a child. The way I look at it is that I'm the oldest of 6, and I've been,
on that? The battery thing.
Been doing this for a long time, and I'm not saying I raised my siblings fully. I have an amazing stepdad, and my mom, she tried. So I wasn't.
She's still trying.
Yeah, I wasn't by myself in the efforts, but I had a huge hand in it. And it's not like, oh, my siblings are so horrible, they make me not want to have kids. It's simply that I'm kind of not interested, in that aspect. Yeah, I'm not shutting down the aspect of it, because if it happens, I'm gonna have the child and I'm gonna, do what I can. It's just really, really troublesome to me to have an entire mind under my control. I would probably be mean. Instead of teaching them yes and no, I would teach them dog and cat and just see how that goes.
That's why I think I always got excited.
What I worry about is that I'll care too much, and I say that because what has happened just with my dog. There's been too many moments where I felt like I just care too much. This is fucking weird. It's just a dog, dude. Why am I near tears? Why am I fucking pissed off at this doctor for keeping my dog for 9 hours for a routine checkup? I was pissed the other day. I went to Banfield. Fuck you guys, by the way. Sorry. You guys do good. There's this one doctor.
He's emotional.
You a hoe, girl. You a hoe. I'm pissed at you.
You a hoe.
I'm pissed at you. So she's not a hoe either. I don't know if she's a hoe. If
she might be a hoe.
She's like a hippie style hoe. Whatever.
She have armpit hair?
But maybe. Yeah. But I care too much about that damn dog. Mm-hmm. I can't even imagine how much I'll care about a baby. I don't want to feel like that shit. Again, I go back to being selfish. Unfortunately, or fortunately, we'll see how that pans out. This happened to me, this whole change, this whole restructuring and rewiring and reacting to whatever the fuck happened to me near 40. If my shit still swim at 50, 55, then they swim.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
You're like Michael Douglas.
Let them swim, and then, that
Maybe
chick is 30 or whatever.
If they swim a little crooked, whatever,
as long as, maybe the
They still
pussy's
swim.
cooking at the same
Yeah.
time. I don't know.
I feel like I wouldn't care
Like,
enough.
boom. All I'm going to say is, I'm lucky still to be a man, first off, because I could still deliver if I want. But it's just overthinking. At the end of the day, I just want to be happy.
Yeah.
And right now, I envision a beach house and pets and being able to wake up and swim and spending my nights making people laugh and spending my days creating and being artistic, and that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Traveling, like, that's good. I want to just do that. I kids.
I want to adopt a black kid. I'm still.
What?
I want to adopt a black baby.
God, why did... I know it was a positive comment, but it felt racist.
How did it feel racist?
Like, it's like
I'm not
your
gonna,
version
like-
of reparations.
I'm not gonna put him to work.
Why wouldn't you?
Why wouldn't I what?
Oh,
That's not
I
where
hope-
I'm going.
we just had a black guest the last time. I hope we have another one.
Black Twitter. Black Twitter.
Yeah, I want a black baby.
You're an authority on that. But, yeah, man, it's just... That's too much for me right now. I feel like I'm just raising myself right now.
Yeah, I used to say like I'm not done with myself. I can't have a kid. But the thing is, I don't think you're ever done with yourself.
Yeah. Not if you're a smart one.
Yeah.
Not if you really want a beautiful life.
I look at
You're
my
never done.
stepdad who met my mom at such a young age with 3 kids already, helped to raise all of us, had 3 more kids.
Your stepdad
He's fucking
is
wild.
But that must have been a good ass pussy.
He's going through a research. I mean, fuck, I don't know. I only came out.
Irene, you got a good ass pussy.
I only ever came out of it. I don't know.
Irene, how's that pussy?
Whoa,
You got some good ass pussy, Irene.
Hey,
Sorry, mama.
that is his mom's pussy
I know,
you're talking
I'm
about.
Sorry, but if you show up to a household with 3 kids, you're like, that gotta be some bomb ass.
We don't talk about mom's pussies on this show, just to clarify. We don't.
I mean, Fernando stayed.
Fernando do so much. Fernando. And by the way, Fernando, you wrote a beautiful comment on one of my posts today. Love you, guy.
Props. He probably
Props.
used a fucking animated GIF for you too.
No, he didn't.
No, because he's
No.
been stuck on that shit.
No, he
like he
didn't
just
use
found out they
animated GIF.
exist.
GIF or a GIF?
I think it's
Yeah,
GIF.
how is that?
I thought it was a GIF.
I thought it was a gift,
Pretty
too.
sure it's a GIF.
Spelled with a
I'll
G.
look it up. I know, but the creator of said
I
item.
think it's how Dan says gift.
GIF. GIF.
And I think we have a minute left.
Yeah, is that what that means?
Was that how you-
That's 1 minute
Is this how
left.
you say a
Okay,
minute
we
now?
got 1 minute left.
Wrap
Okay.
it up.
We have
Wrap it
1
up.
minute left.
Wrap it up.
But no, he's like almost I think he's knocking on 50's door, and he's having a whole new resurgence of life,
And I feel it.
and yeah, and it's like, oh shit. So there is no limit, there is no age where
Well,
you're
that
like,
makes
hey man, you got to be ready by this age. No, you don't.
No, man.
No, you don't. I'm not saying go be lazy and
You know
fuck
what's so
up,
funny
but
about that?
like it's just
I actually, there's moments where I envision or / envy some of my friends that got knocked up early.
oh yeah.
That now they're done, right? Their kids are out, they're done, and it's like they go drink with their kids. They bring them out, like their kids are fucking DDs. Like, motherfucker, you vomited in like 6 of my cars. You're driving.
So there's this lady that frequents the restaurant that I work at, and she brought her daughter, and she found out that I wrote, and her daughter had an assignment, in college, and she's like, hey, like she's really working on this poetry thing, and I thought it'd be cool if she met a poet. So I talked to her daughter, and I'm like, her daughter's kind of hot. But then I realized the mom was hitting on me, and I'm like, and again, I'm realizing
You're there.
I'm at that point
Yeah, you're
where I'm
old,
like,
bitch.
technically I could sleep with both of them, not at the same time. Well, maybe, I mean, I live a wild life.
I mean, it just
I
depends on
wouldn't
your
say no.
attitude.
Right?
If you
You're
put
a
it out to
quitter.
the universe, if you put it out to the universe, there's a likelihood it might happen.
Yeah, but no, I mean, it's kind of invigorating knowing that I'm at that moment. I'm at that age group where, yeah, I can totally do a mom and daughter pairing.
I like it.
Actually, that's
I want to ask you
It's on
guys
the list.
something
Yeah.
real quick.
On that note,
is there anything I can help you guys with?
I got this knot in my back. Rub your dick on it. Just kidding.
Only when Josh makes it hard.
Yeah, I know what I'm doing. So
He's gifted.
just give me a second.
No, I have this mentality of I truly feel that this could fix the world. It's a heavy-handed statement, but I think it's true. I envision a room of 30 people, and I envision every single person in that room trying to be the best person that they could possibly be. No. That's the antithesis of that. Just looking internally and saying, how can I be amazing, right? How can I be the best thing? And then that entire room is enriched as a byproduct of everyone trying to be the greatest person they can be, whether it mean being nice, being genuine, being successful within their own confines and their own definition. Okay? That room of 30 will grow into prosperity because everyone is more concerned about personal growth, and not in a selfish fuck the world way, but in a how can I be the best me possible. Okay, I look at that room and I say, if the world could do this for just a little bit, then everything would be okay, because so many people are worried so much about other people failing that they stop to realize that they're failing too, without saying like if the room of 30, okay, if one person was like, oh my God, what's that girl over there doing? She's such an idiot. That's automatic negativity in a room of 30. I feel like that's where the world's at right now. Everyone's so worried about what everyone else is doing and how they're failing. They're not focused on themselves. So the long-winded answer to your question is keep succeeding, and I will respond in kind. That's what I want from you.
I actually I love what you said, because it's one of the things that, again, I'm you. I'm you. I look at what I do, and sometimes I clown myself, and sometimes I like, damn, that's fucking cheeseball as fuck, But that's how I fucking felt, and sometimes I'm cheeseball as fuck. Like that's just how it goes down. So I say that because it's just one of those things, like, I want to be a balance. Mm-hmm. I want to help bring, because most of the stuff that I've gone through and what I've learned in the last 3-4 years, it's stuff I never knew anything about. Like, I never ever knew about the importance of mindset and the importance of talking to yourself. One of the best things I do daily is the 3 5s. I tell myself 5 things I'm grateful for, 5 affirmations, 5 things I want the universe to give me. That action alone, dude, has changed how my day starts. If I do nothing but just those 3 5s, it changes my mindset. And so, knowing how positive that comes, what it does to me in reality, offline, I won't stop doing it online. Because fuck the 3,000 people that think it's fake or whatever the fuck, these motherfuckers, whatever. Fuck that negativity. That 10%, that 5%, that 3%, that 1% could be me back in the day that just needed that part. Mm-hmm. So, fuck it. Let's do it. Let's post it. This is why I am willing to be cheesy. I'm willing to be whatever the fuck at that moment, in whatever state of mind I'm in. I'm cool with it. I don't give a shit if I'm plastered or if I'm high or if I'm sober. If I feel it, I want to say it, and whatever happens, happens. Most of the time, my intention is just legit positive.
Yeah. I mean, I know the strength lies in when any one of us walk into a room. And I mean that fully. I mean, lacking ego, but holding on to a whole lot of arrogance. When I walk into a room, people are happy. And it's because I bring that. I'm not saying I make them laugh. I'm not saying I make them do anything. It's just an automatic energy. And that's what I want to carry every single day. When Walter walks into a room, people are happy. It's funny. When Josh walks into a room, I'm excited. I know that at the very least, someone's going to make me, someone's going to make me laugh with some stupid remark. So I'm hoping that we all do that for you guys as well. This was a great interview with Walter. Catch us next week when I'll be in the hot seat.
Yes, Tony, next week. Hosted by Josh.
Would he have sex with Clark Kent or Batman? We'll find out.
Is Catwoman video or in
These are the questions. These are the questions.
I'm gonna sign us off. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you guys. Support us. Follow us on YouTube. Follow us on social media. Speakeasy Podcast. Speakeasy Pod. Be part of the Speakeasy Squad. We'll be back next time with this motherfucker.
Butterfly boys.
Butterfly boys. Yeah.
I don't know who half these people are that are viewing me.
Fuck my God, what